We giving the new look Steelers enough respect?
Hell no. I wouldn't get it. First of all, that thing like, bye, see how you think?
Why do all the Packer players get so? It's like they showing Ross. He's like, oh my God, like you, James.
How they do it? How they do it?
Oh my God. They pom like, bro.
Anyhow, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, you got that. Hey, you got that. Hey, go ahead, Will.
Y'all so corny, bro. I'm tired of y'all. My friends are so annoying. Anyhow, no, they're not giving them much respect because I feel like essentially they upgraded at most positions, right? They upgraded at quarterback, clear as day. You see that? They went and got DK Metcalf. They went and got a true bona fide #1 receiver. They lose Minka, but you get Jalen, right? You probably have one of the strongest tight end rooms now with Jonnu Smith and Freiermuth, right? And then let's keep going. You get Darius Slay coming over. You got another veteran. Yes, you don't have Najee Harris, but you have a loaded running back in terms of running back by committee with Warren. You drafted Caleb Johnson, who I think is going to be a stud in the NFL. So I think just overall, like, they just upgraded every position. You got true veterans. You got guys with Super Bowl championship experience. So I think overall, a lot of teams are sleeping on the Steelers. I definitely think they upgraded.
Well, let me know if you agree with this. I think they upgraded as well. I'm giving them enough respect. I believe there are 3 tiers in the AFC, 3 tiers of significance, and then there's everybody else. I think tier 1, you got the Chiefs. They stand alone. They might not have the best roster. They stand alone. Tier 2, you got the Bills, you got the Ravens. Over the last 3 to 4 years, they've proven they stand alone. And then tier 3, you got the Texans, you got the Chargers, you got the Broncos, you got the Bengals, and I now would put the Steelers in tier 3. Then you have everyone else. So I do not think the Steelers are on the same level right now. I haven't seen enough to put them with the Ravens or the Bills. Obviously can't put them with the Chiefs. But where I am after these offseason moves, I'll put the Steelers right along the Chargers, right along the Broncos, right along the Texans, right along the Bengals, and I think this is really how the AFC looks. After that, we can have different conversations.
Okay. Let's have that different conversation right now. First off, I don't put the Kansas City Chiefs right now above the Bills or the Ravens in this moment of time. I would put them, all 3 of them, together as tier 1 because I think all 3 of those teams deserved it. We've seen year after year after year in any given moment, any of those teams could beat each other in the playoffs. Obviously, the Chiefs keep coming out on top, so if you really want to put them up above that notch, I understand it. But as of right now, I'm making this video on 4th of July right now. You might hear some fireworks crackling back there. I'm just going to put them all in the equal playing field until something else changes. And then I'm going to actually put the Broncos and the Chargers on that next tier because of the continuity that I think that they have for the first time in a long time. And I really love the moves and the offseason moves that they made. And then I'm putting there in the Steelers, the Texans, and the Bengals there in kind of like a show me tier where it's like, I believe in you in these teams, but like you haven't earned the right for me to just have that level of confidence that I'm just willing to just be like, yeah, no, I know they'll be great. You know, it's just a matter of time. And especially with the Steelers, they've made a lot of moves. But what I love is that quote that they didn't go over. There is a degree of urgency in that building. And that's what I love about what the Pittsburgh Steelers did. I was definitely kind of hot and cold, back and forth before any of the moves actually unfolded when they were trying to figure out, like, what are we doing at quarterback? And I made a couple videos before I think they even got rid of Fields and Russ, like before like all of this truly unfolded. And it reminds me during the draft, the Falcons made a couple trades that I wasn't like 100% thrilled about. I thought they gave a little bit too much. Like, it just didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me in real time. And then the more I thought about it, I had some conversations with people in the comment section, and Travis O'Shea kind of pointed out, he's like, we always talk about teams needing to take big swings, right? And that's what you need to do. And so you can't call out a team for making a big swing. And it was just like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, yeah, I was like, I changed my mind in real time where it was like, yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I am going to go back on what my initial first thought was about what the Atlanta Falcons did. They took a couple big swings on defense. Excited to see where it pans out. And that is what you need to do. You need to take some swings to be able to take this step forward. And I think that's what the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing right now. And there is a level of urgency. They are trying to do things a little bit differently than they have in the past. And they're taking that swing. I mean, it actually kind of makes me think of Colin, where he talked about recently. I mean, he talked about this a lot, but he's been banging this drum, especially recently, about the Steelers. They don't spend a lot of money on offense. They're the cheapest team on offense, like year after year after year, and they spend the most money on defense year after year after year. And that statement alone, in isolation, there's some truth to it, and that's fine. But then it's like, well, they went out and got DK. That's a huge move. And whether you love or hate Aaron Rodgers, signing Aaron Rodgers is also a huge move. Like, those are two concrete moves on offense. You're getting I understand he's older. I get it. But you're still getting a bona fide Hall of Fame veteran in Aaron Rodgers. And you are getting a monster at wide receiver. And I understand he has his own share of issues on the field, because you're kind of like, well, what's the point? You traded out one kind of problematic wide receiver for another. And it's like, yes and no. Like, if you had to choose a wide receiver right now, you're going to pick DK. You would be an intelligent person would. You're going to pick him. His level of experience, his physicality, his size and strength. It's like, I'm way more open to paying that guy money than I would what you had before. So now you're upgrading, again, from my viewpoint, offensively. So it's just like, it is kind of interesting to me as to, like, what else in real time would you have wanted this team to do in order to be able to take steps forward? Because I do think that they kind of improved in many different areas, even if just incrementally. And it's just like, okay. And to do that, they had to take some swings. And they're seeing what's happening. If this was basketball, if this was a little bit differently, where you could make some big trade package to get Giannis Antetokounmpo or something, or you could convince KD to sign with you, like, then I would understand a little bit. But football does back you into a corner, which is a good thing. It is why we have years like we have, where a team like the Broncos overnight can become a competitor. Why the Eagles can just fall, collapse in 23 and then in 24 win the Super Bowl. Why the Rams can swap and get Stafford, and then that year be pretty good but still need to make a huge move, go out and get Von Miller and OBJ. And they had to mortgage the future to be able to do that. They force their hand in a lot of ways. These teams do get backed in a corner, and they have to kind of make hard decisions. And it's great. It's why it's why, we can't get enough of it, because you truly never have any idea how this is all going to unfold. And so it is hard. It is hard. I mean, the Steelers kind of had a decision to make. Do they just punt this season and truly be bad and only win like 3-4 games this year? That would be ideal in terms of how many games to win, not that path. And then you draft high, or you say, let's see. We got some key guys. We got some guys that have been on this team for a while, Watt and company, and it's just like, can we be better? Can we do something that pushes us forward? And they made those moves. Whether they end up being right or wrong, at least they felt intentional. And that's the thing that I can appreciate. I talk about this. It's probably one of the words I use more than, one of my top 5 words that I use on this channel, intentionality. I talk about intentionality all the time. Every time I'm watching a football game, I'm always trying to look for, what was the intention? What was the game plan? What were you trying? Did you win this game? Okay, great, check. But why did you win this game? Was it because of what you were intentionally looking to accomplish? Or did it just work out for you? Was the run game working for you, or did you intentionally make the run game working for you? Like, what's the story here? I'm always looking for intention. When sometimes teams make moves and they draft, it's just like, what's the intention? What are you looking to build? Are you just drafting guys because it's your turn? Because you have the 24th pick and it's time for you to draft now? And it's like, okay, that guy. And it does feel intentional. And I can appreciate that. Which then makes me be, it warms me up more to a team like the Steelers in terms of the level of grace that I suppose that I'm looking to give to them. And yeah, I mean, I think when you're a very well run team and you have a lot of veterans there, you should see a lot of elevation. I mean, think about Russ and Justin Fields. I understand that year did not go exactly how either of them necessarily planned. But it's safe to say that in Pittsburgh, we got the best versions of them that they were capable of doing in 2024. And the Steelers do deserve a lot of credit. It wasn't enough in many moments. And the offense with Justin Fields, like, I was not impressed at all. And I thought, going to Russ made 100% sense to me. But they still did make it work. They made it work in a way that the Denver Broncos couldn't with Russ. They just didn't. And they were unwilling to. And certainly they made it work in a way that the Chicago Bears could not make it work. And it's going to be fascinating to see Justin Fields. I don't think will work very well in the New York Jets. So if Aaron Rodgers can work as a, 37, 38, however the heck old he is right now, he's definitely older. If anyone's going to work, if DK is going to work, if Aaron's going to work, like if any of these new additions, Jalen Ramsey, like if any of these guys are going to work, it's going to be in Pittsburgh. It's going to be in Pittsburgh. So that alone is fascinating to me. That alone, I don't know if someone like a Mike Tomlin can have necessary reputation of like, we're maximizers. We can get the most juice out of anyone, even though I felt like that is what they were able to do with Russ and Justin Fields. But I think at the bare minimum, what you can give the reputation for, and it's been his win-loss record as well, is like, we give these guys a floor that is elevated, that it's like, I might not be able to just, again, maximize every last bit out of you, but it's like, I give you a floor that gives you plenty of room to run on. It's up to you guys to take it to that next level. I ensure that we got the organization. I'm here to make sure that we have our game plan, that we are organized, that we are equipped, that we are well practiced, that we are ready for the moment. You guys got to take over from there. And I can appreciate that. Because there are some teams that don't do that, and that's when the bottom falls out from underneath them. That's how you get teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's how you get teams like before CJ Stroud with the Houston Texans, and the Commanders before Jane Daniels and Dan Quinn, and the Detroit Lions before Jared Goff and Dan Campbell. You got a lot of these teams where the floor was just constantly falling out. And that is what happened with the New York Jets. You think about it, when they brought in Aaron Rodgers, it was like they could not provide a floor for that team. They could not provide a floor. And so the bottom falls out. But that is not what happens with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So when you bring some of these players who are kind of like, I don't know about your personality, or I don't know about your age, it's like, well, we can be pretty confident that the floor is not going to fall out from underneath them. And so where does that bring them? I become increasingly more and more excited to see, honestly. It makes me start to believe like, there really could be something here that, more so than meets the eye. Again, Miami Dolphins couldn't provide a floor. Things start to crumble. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Ramsey, too. I mean, it's just like things become a mess. Sometimes you need to just provide the floor for these guys. And it's actually kind of perfect imagery, because when you give them the floor, they can walk, they can stand, they can jump, they can run, they can do the things that need to be done. When you don't give them the floor, they're literally falling. And no one could say that about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nobody. That's like the one thing that you can't take away from this team. So I'm fascinated to see what happens when you bring this group of guys in there. You make some of these changes. You give them a floor in a way that they had not had for quite a bit of time. So I believe, I'm starting to believe more and more. I'm talking myself into it more and more, honestly. To be fair, Aaron Rodgers burned me in 2024. So, but I believe more so this year. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Pittsburgh Steelers? Do you think they're getting enough respect? I mean, it seems like Acho's kind of got them in the AFC 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if that's exactly in order. I assume so, though. It's got to be in some kind of general order, but still considered a top-esque team in the AFC, so I think that would be pretty fair. They had the 15th best odds to win the Super Bowl, which is interesting. Slightly above average, I suppose. But let me know what you guys all think in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.